Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Imperator Rome with me, Alpha Omega and Rome. So, in the previous episode we have spent our time developing our empire and just going around finishing up the mission. And now we have to decide what we're gonna do next. So we can stabilize and grow Aquitania, which is actually kind of interesting, though I'm not entirely sure we want to do that because we do not... Wait, do we? Oh yeah, we own all of Aquitania, because Vengonia and Segusiavia, huh? I always thought it was Segusavia, but it's Segusiavia, are our puppets. Well, Vengonia is technically a clan state, so I wouldn't say puppet, and you are... Okay, no, you're both clan states, alright. I thought that they were feudatory. No, not feudatories, what's the other term? But you're also a clan state? Oh yeah, you're... Okay, so I guess the term is a clan state. Anyway, because they're a clan state, we could do stabilize and grow Aquitania, but we could do also Eastern Glory, which means we will go after Anatolia, or the matter of Atlas, which we have discussed previously. We don't actually want to do that right now. And we also have Hispanian ambition, which I think might actually be a pretty good idea, because we would probably prefer to take the rest of it. There's still a ton of territory to be taken. But I think, you know, they broke the truce with us, we left them alone, so now it's time to actually go after them. So let's start the mission. The Punic Coast is done, so we can find a Colonia, Nova Carthago. Where are you? Nova Carthago, it's 17 pops, Dianum is 14 pops, 9 pops in Portus Magnus, and 15 pops in Protus Sucronis. So, the item is over here. That one has 63 pops, is almost completely Romanized. Nova Carthago, I think, is down here. Carthago Nova? Yes, Carthago Nova. You have 80, and you are not completely, but you're much bigger. Portus Magnus is over here. That one is also actually... And Portus Sucronis. I think that might be even further south. No? Portus Sucronis over here. Alright, so I think we're gonna go with Carthago Nova. That will almost fully Romanize it, and we can actually start investing into these ones as we're gonna be developing the area. So Massavian Littoral is the same thing here. So Emporea, Tarraco, Dertosa, or it's hard to follow, Saguntum. So where is Saguntum? Wasn't Saguntum all the way? No, that's, I guess, too far. Alright, can we find... So this is Emporia. That's 71 pops. Man, Spain is huge. I keep thinking about it like a backwards territory, but no, there are some major cities here. There's mostly on the coast. Inside of the territory is bad, but we have done a ton of work here. Tarraco might not be though. Emporia, Dertosa, probably a big one too, and that's here, isn't it? Yes, Dertosa is here. Yeah, we'll need to start investing in Spain in this episode while we're shaving off the rest of the aggressive expansion. And Tarraco, I don't know, but it doesn't matter. Let's go with Emporia, because that one is the biggest city. And it's gonna fully, well, it didn't fully Romanize them, but let's build an aqueduct here as well. I'm gonna get rid of some of these cities that we have marked here, because we did so for growth purposes, and I think at this point we can forget about them a little bit as they are fully developed, as far as we can see at this point. Brixon, they'll need with a bit more time to establish themselves, get in more people, and, you know, generally speaking, become what we expect them to be. Alright, we can actually invest in you. Overpassed! I didn't realize that. You will also need to build the Great Temple here. That was the plan all along. You could even get the fort, but building the fort in the middle of Italy, in the mountains especially, makes very little sense. So let's just order you to build this one and get rid of you. And Bulgaria is also working really nice so far. Before we jump on Spain though and do more, I was actually asked by the Febide enjoyer about Malta. And as it turns out, Malta has completely depopulated. There's one pop there, only one pop, and that is a slave pop. So I think this might be actually a pretty cool place to establish a city and work it up and make it, you know, massive, which is gonna be fun because I've never tried to establish a city on one pop. So I would like to see how that's gonna work. We can, of course, pull in more people, but let's make this a hobby project. Let's just build a city here and have it grow. And there was also a question about what we're gonna do here, and we could turn either Utica or, well, we could actually turn both of these cities into a metropolis, and I think that might not be a bad idea. So let's actually turn you into metropolis, and you as well. It's gonna cost us quite a lot of political influence, and we need a lot of money, but we're gonna do that. Hispanian Provincia. Alright, mercenary influx. And we get a ton of claims. Our new lands in Hispania are being carefully organized by our administrators, overseeing the collection of taxes, recruitment of soldiers, and flow of trade. They have divided the region into so-called Hispania Superior and Hispania Ulterior to split the vast management requirements. Will we squeeze out all we can to fund future expansions, or ensure that the territories become civilized as soon as possible? We came for plunder, not to read Homer to tribes. Or the true potential of Hispania will take decades to realize. Yes, we're gonna do that. We want them. Damn, we can actually go further. So the northern tribes. Again, Augusta, Osca, or Irreda. Irreda seems to be the only city that actually is fully developed. Yeah. Oh, it's not Irreda, it's Ilerda. Alright, so I'll mark you for future. I'll mark you as well. You too. We need to start investing in these guys. This is crazy. So Ilerda, was it completely Romanized? It was, but it's gonna grow a little bit more with the pops, and we're gonna grow it further. And we could go the Pillars of Hercules. Southern Hispania is ours, something the Carthaginians dreamed of, securing access to the jealously guarded Hercules Strait. Our merchants can now sail to the northern tribes and peddle their wares in safety. With newly conquered territory comes the inevitable parceling of land and distribution of promises, but it is up to us to decide which township will become the Roman hub in the area. So Gades. Actually, I would like to have one of these. Cartea. Yeah, let's make Cartea because it's the one in the south near the coast. Develop. Yeah, I'm pulling quite a lot of cities to bear. All right, but with the martial advances, we can finally get something you guys were waiting for, and that is the cohorts. Cohorts will give us discipline plus 5%, but they mostly, and most importantly, allow us to change the laws to start establishing full cohorts standing armies. So the cohort development after the Marian reforms were enacted in Rome. Each subunit of a legion was enlarged to consist of 480 fighting men, alongside various logistic logistic specialties. Uniting devotion. Nice, we need a little bit of stability. Are we? No, we are doing fine. So we want to trade. Did we? We gave you guys auto trade, didn't we? I think so. Let me just double check to make absolutely sure that everybody has auto trade. Look how many provinces we have. Jesus, we are really ruling in an empire. Yeah, everybody has it. So that's good. Observing the master. Lately, Manius Cornelius Pansa has been pestering Amulius Cornelius almost daily with a simple request, one that Amulius cannot ignore for much longer. What Manius has asked for is simple enough, if a little embarrassing. All that he wants is the chance to observe Amulius during the next council meeting. Being somewhat inexperienced with political matters, Manius would like to watch the master at work, so to speak, in hopes of learning how to deal with advisors. You can sit behind me, but keep quiet and don't appear too eager. Yeah, sure. I mean, is there any point why not to do that? So what's next? Befriend Imperator tribe. That doesn't really... I guess maybe it's dealing with just the eastern part? Heart of Iberia. Okay, no, here we go. Across Celtic and Iberian dominance. Yeah, okay, so we need to take them down. Doesn't matter, it's gonna be fine. We'll do it. So, in the Bellis, you guys deserve an aqueduct. Dartosa. Oh, and civic advances, alright. Dartosa, you require a temple, an aqueduct, a granary, and another aqueduct. Celebration. Oh man, we really don't have money. I mean, you can fund it yourselves. So, civic advances. School of Civic Duties. Trade ports. Regulated money lenders. Alright, that would give us 2.5%. And we really haven't gone through this one at all. Like, at all. It's crazy. I mean, is there still something that we want here? The valuation of silver. Limited governorship wage lowered. I mean, these are really not bad. Currency unification. So let's go with regulated money lenders. It's gonna help. 2.5% in tax is actually pretty good. The plight of the poor is rarely relieved by money lenders, but we must accept that they are a necessary evil. Instituting financial regulations, however, may at least let us profit from them. National tax plus 2.5%. So Iverda, new as our local hub. A granary, aqueduct, and let's put another granary because you will have enough to grow. Saguntum, you have everything really, the exception of an aqueduct. Cartea, you, my lovelies, will be a big thing for us. So you need these, and because you're producing dyes, I'm also gonna build the foundry here, and then we're gonna build an aqueduct. Alright. Classes is Commander, Semproni and Messiah. Well, you're pretty good. Let's split you up, and the other guy is gonna be a Messiah. If we can find one. Alright, Quintus Messius. And we have a new consul. And this guy is not bad. 10 martial, 8 finesse, charisma and zeal, not his strong suit. The recent death of the Arvashian ruler has caused a great deal of political disturbance in the country. Alright. So Arvashia might fall into a chaos, which actually is a pretty good thing. You're energetic tactician, and you're crafty and righteous and arbitrary. Oh! You have no blood in you. That's interesting. I haven't seen that one before, but really good. Other than that, really good. A little bit of corruption, but the rest is pretty good. Courtier and Courtier. So how about the Courtier? Can we find one? Corneli. But you are too corrupt. You, Cossus Claudius Severio. And Cisalpine could get a KTI. We could do with a good commander. Catius. Unfortunately, you're too corrupt. So let's put Numerus Attilus. Levantines convert to Judaism. That's interesting. We have these. Is this a sort of a onset of Christianity? The way the game is, because Christianity should be spawning in a couple of decades. It's kind of interesting that we're getting these Judaistic converts. I'm not sure where they're coming from. Welcome to the year 13 BC. The populares have often targeted the richer elements of our society, seeking to claim the wealth of the upper classes for the masses. Their most recent focus is the head of the Semproni family. Gnaeus. I mean, you are a popularis, aren't you? Yes, and 100% conviction, so yes, we're gonna do it. Whether or not we like that is a completely different matter. Let's put an aqueduct. So you are okay. And the only city that we're actually thinking about is Tingi, which also needs an aqueduct. And then we are gonna jump straight up on. Yes, we're gonna hold the Olympiad. Then we are gonna jump straight up on legions, which is going to require us to save a ton of money, so it is going to be a big project, which is why I wanted to get these things out of the way first. Legal chicanery. In an outrageous display of brazen ineptitude, Cossus Catius Trebonius challenged the ownership of the holding belonging to Statius Catius this afternoon, with only a set of blatantly forged documents to back up his claim. The proceedings did not last long. Should we press for recompense? The sun has belonged to us for July. Yes, let's get a little bit of stability. Alright, so, laws. So with what we have just done, we can now take the Marian reforms. The Marian reforms will... Okay, what we have is Republican levy, which lowers monthly war exhaustion by 0.04, which actually is not a negligible amount, considering we're lowering it by only 0.06. We have a Ratian levy raised. Okay, I should get rid of you guys, because we're not going to be building anything right now. Alright. And we were getting also levy size multiplier plus 7.5%. Marian reforms are gonna well, they're gonna remove all of that, and they're gonna instead give us discipline plus 5%, which is great in its own. So the levy is going to go down in size by 7.5%. I think we're still doing pretty good. Yes, we have a 20%. So even if we don't get that 7.5%, we'll be doing relatively okay. And considering how much we're getting from Italia and Magna Graecia, you know, we could do with a little bit less troops. So it is not an issue. Let us pass this. The Marian reforms drastically overhauled the organization and recruitment policies of the Roman Republic. Requirements for entry into the army were largely abolished, and the now ineffective manipular system was restructured, resulting in permanent cohorts consisting of professional soldiers. Alright, so that... Okay, that dramatically dropped our actual stability. Damn, alright. Not expected that, but still. We can befriend an Imperator tribe, sure. And let us see about the legions. So, as you can see, we can now raise legions anywhere we want. The first one, I believe, we're gonna raise in Italy. We can actually choose a leader here. Marius Omarius. Liberation. The Council of Cortona have taken it upon themselves to free a sizable quantities of privately owned slaves. We should intervene if we think it best. Letting slaves get too comfortable could have repercussions. No, for freedom. I could use the money, but having a good population that is free is good. Alright, so let us slow it down just so that we don't get that bothered. And what we need here? Well, we have access to quite a lot of units here. We have access to heavy cavalry, which we didn't have before. We could add chariots. We could add heavy infantry. Xenophobia. Turn the other cheek. It's a question how we're gonna want to handle this. So I'm not entirely sure. Can I see the stats? I actually... Okay, this is a bit weird. I was hoping that... Well, the interface looks a little bit broken. It's actually a little bit of an issue, but alright. Let us think about this strategically. How sizable would we want the Legion to be? Well, I was thinking something like 20 cohorts of heavy infantry, 10 cohorts of heavy spearmen, and then we would need at least 10 cohorts. And the question is, do we want heavy cavalry or do we want light cavalry? Because if we add light cavalry, something like this would work. But this is the basis, because it's the shortest possible or smallest possible legion. I wonder what we should look at what the width here is for the terrain. Combat buff is 20. In the mountains is it shortened? Yes, 16. In the forest it's 20. Alright, so I don't think we get modifiers to combat with from martial advances. Man, it's been a while since I last did the legions. So if we want to fill it, then well, that's a question. We could also do 20, 20, and 10. But it's best to have... The difference between these guys, though, is really crazy. And heavy cavalry, we have a lot of bonuses for heavy cavalry. So, okay, let's see. If we wanted to add 20 heavy infantry, 20 of you, and then let's go with 20 of you. It would cost 900 gold, and we would have 22 maintenance. It is basically 60, it's about 30,000 men, which, you know, is fair. That's a decent sized legion. The legions are usually around 10,000, so this would be 3 legions. And you could add some engineers as well, and we definitely need to add the supply trains, which will not be connected. But if we added 20, I need to look at the composition here, to be quite honest, just so that we have an idea about what the sizes would be. Army movement speed, maneuver is 0, your maneuver is 1. You guys can maneuver 5, but I think you would be... and for this size, so for about 308 units. So you have basically 1 per 10. So for the army we have 10 be more than enough to feed them. I think that could work. I think that could work. I'm looking at this more from the roleplay point of view. I'm not trying to do it in any, you know, any optimizing way. I'm just trying to have fun with it. Before you tell me that I should min-max it a little bit more, because if I wanted to, I could add, you know, slingers, and I could add the velites. So that could also go, but. Alright, let's try it. We want to get it done. So let's start with 20 and 20. So it's going to be front and back line. And we're going to add 5 more as a reserve to each. We'll have 10 for the flanks. Wait, you need 20. It's 2, 5, 10. So we would add 20, and let's add... Is it too much? Too big? Or we don't have the money? We don't have the money. Alright. So let's just think about it. Like 25, 25, 25. I can also add... let's add velites just for fun. We'll add 10, you know, for that. And we'll add... I think the engineers would be good for sieges, so let's add 6, and that means we would eventually need... Let's go with 10. 25, that's 75, 85... Okay, 90. 90... Okay, 100... Okay, look at this. So we've only 1,680 gold, and it's gonna cost us 43 maintenance. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's a big region. It's a big region, but it's gonna be very effective. It is going to be very effective, so we have to wait for it, to be quite honest, to get it. And KTIs are unhappy. We don't have anything to give you. Do we have a governor we would like to kick out? Anyone corrupt? Not really. These guys are actually doing... Well, the most corrupt one is our consul, as it turns out, and the guy in Greece. What is your problem, kind sir? It's actually dropping. Flavius Claudius. Statesmanship is increasing. When he's... And the guy in Thrace. The guy said that he's gonna die soon, quite honestly. Cornelius. So it's gonna make the Corneli mad. Well, I guess you can make everyone happy. So, 1400. Alright, war exhaustion is completely gone. We don't have a casus belli, so let us actually go ahead and fabricate a claim on Turdulia Orientalis. And once we have it, we're gonna go to war against our enemies, because the war aggressive expansion is almost gone. Tyranny is almost gone. Everything, yeah. Well, we're gonna be done in a couple of months. So once we get that claim, we will go to war. As far as you guys are concerned, the levy is going to be created. So yes, the costs, man, are excessive. If we decrease it a little bit, the morale is gonna drop. Increased pay with increased morale. The coming of city of Melita. Oh, hello. So let's see what we can do in Melita. We have 43 population capacity there. That is crazy. What's the migration attraction? 9.22. That's actually not much. A friend in Hispania. Oh, well. In exchange for a vassalage. Do we want to? I mean, we could make them a vassal and try to integrate them. How long would it take to integrate you guys? Just interesting. I'm not gonna do it, but start integration 100. Yeah, we can't even look into that. Offer them an alliance. Let's see if they can accept this vassalage. They will not, so that will give us a roleplay reason to actually attack them. But I'm still interested in seeing what if they do. Well, if they do, then we have another vassal basically, and I'll consider the win. We'll let them govern themselves, and we'll turn our eyes back towards the east, where the civilizations lie. Trade wins. Excellent. Ostia. Use the funds to encourage visitors to stay. I like how this is like a proto form of tourism. Monetary crisis. No deflation. Everything here is fine. Economy balance is pretty good. Am I not in the doom? Yes, give me that stability. I'm pretty sure we no longer have. Yes, we need this. Why are you still dropping? Man, did they try to vassalize them? Give us aggressive expansion? What the hell? Why did you go up? So will they accept or will they not? They're at war with Britannia. Oh, okay. The Britannia was formed. That's interesting. Well, I guess they're not gonna tell us. So we are just gonna let them be at this point, and we're gonna create. Yeah, look at that. We dropped quite significantly in the sizes of the levies, but we can now raise legions. And regions are going to be really, 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 really good. So anyway, thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode.